Well, the hits keep on coming for the 49ers. Deebo Samuel has a calf strain and will miss a few weeks, is what Kyle Shanahan said on his press conference call today after the game. It happened at the end of the game. He said he had the hot route and it was maybe 3 plays after or before the end of the game, but a calf strain. So Deebo Samuel will be out for a few weeks. Christian McCaffrey already out for at least 4. Ricky Pearsall cannot come back until week 5. So the 49ers offense is looking a little bit depleted, but not nearly as bad as the Los Angeles Rams, which is where they play on Sunday. Now, 49ers have to get Deebo Samuel healthy. They've got to get Christian McCaffrey healthy. But until then, until these guys can start making their way back, Brock Purdy is going to have to start leaning on Brandon Ayuk. And I asked Kyle Shanahan, he's been kind of worked in slowly. He caught 4 passes on Sunday, 43 yards. Not awful, but not amazing either. So I asked him, said, he was in the game about 85%, 89%. Let me look it up here. He was in the game. Got all the stats on different pages. Brandon Ayuk was in the game 61 plays, which was 87%. So I did ask Kyle Shanahan, with what his production was, what is your plan? Were you trying to just ease him in gently? And he said, no, there were a number of times that he had a good chance to get the ball, and a couple times the protections broke down on 2 of them. One time someone busted a route and got in the same way. And so they covered it up. But he had a chance to get about 4 big passes and other factors happened. It's a team game. There are 11 guys out there that are involved in getting someone the ball. He did have some opportunities where he should have, but not everything went right. So, yes, a lot of things went wrong in the Minnesota game. Talked about that on an earlier stream, but it's going to be tough. Um, if you don't follow FB analysis, um, he's a really good follow. Let me see if I've got his follow up. But he posted a video of Isaac Rendo in the backfield and what he did during the play. He's not ready yet to step up into a feature back role at all. Ted Nguyen, it's FB analysis, but he had a video of one snap, Garendo's one snap, and he's just not ready. He doesn't know how to pass block. He doesn't know what assignments to hit. He's just unsure of himself out there. And I mentioned this on 49ers Talk last night on Sunday night that I think it's Bobby Turner is not ready to hand over the reins to a kid who is a rookie and doesn't have, know what all 11 guys on the field are doing. Bobby Turner, he really asks a lot of his running backs, but when they prove to him that they are worthy, he will put them out there in the line of fire, which is, great for like guys like JP Mason. Now, Jordan Mason did have like kind of a time where he did not agree with Bobby Turner. Bobby Turner would ask him things in meetings and he wouldn't have the answer for it. So Jordan Mason during the offseason got a jugs machine, really worked hard, and he has the answer for every time Bobby Turner asks him a question in meetings now. Isaac Guerendo's not there yet. Don't forget, Isaac Guerendo was out with a hamstring injury earlier in training camp, so he didn't get a lot of reps. He doesn't have a lot of experience in the backfield for what Bobby Turner asks of running backs, for what Kyle Shanahan asks of running backs in pass protection, in, blocking, all of that. He doesn't have the awareness necessarily of having patience to hit the gap at the right time. Everything that Kyle Shanahan does is all timing based. And yes, Brian Flores threw a bunch of stuff at Brock Purdy, enough for him to say, your scheme is crazy, right? 5-man fronts, like, whether they didn't know who was coming on the blitz, who was dropping off. So, I mean, it was very confusing, I think, to Brock Purdy, who did not have his best game. Now, I know a lot of people were in the comments saying that don't get on Brock Purdy. He had a really good game. It was okay, but it's not what we've seen in the past. Now, it's more because I think we should have a high bar of what Brock Purdy can do and what he's capable of. And I just don't think he played to his potential in Minnesota. He had an interception. He held on the ball a little bit too long at times. But yes, the offensive line didn't have a great game, but Kyle Shanahan also said the offensive line should not be responsible for all 6 of those sacks. Um, he said, "You've got to look at all the sacks. I believe one of them was from a hot that we didn't throw. We just got hit in the back on one play, so we've got to get rid of that. I think 3 of them, one was scrambling for a 0-yard run. Now, scrambling for a 0 yards does count as a sack, even though it's not necessarily Trent Williams' fault or Colton McKivitt's fault on either side. It does count as a sack in the stats. Um, I think another one was scrambling and diving for a -1-yard run. We didn't have one side open. He went to the other. So that is also a sack. There were definitely a couple of sacks in there, especially on 3rd down, but I thought they run blocked well. I didn't think when you see 6 sacks, you assume it's a real tough day on the O line, but I credit that more to the whole offense. A few are definitely on them, but definitely not all 6 of them. Everyone has to do better, but that number 6 is a little unfair to them. So that's what Kyle Shanahan said on Monday during his conference call. He also said they don't know what they're going to do with that open roster spot. So Christian McCaffrey went on IR. That made the 53-man roster only have 52 people on it. They can add somebody, but they didn't. They did a standard elevation on Saturday, but they did not add anyone to the 53. Now, I asked Matt Mayoko after the game, do you think that is for Ricky Pearsall when he comes back? And he's like, I don't know. That's a long time. It's not until week 5. And now that they've got 2 guys in Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel who are going to be out for multiple weeks, they could bring someone in to sign. Could be Matt Breida, who was there for a training camp, but he does know the system. Jerick McKinnon could be a guy that they could bring back as well. But I know the Chiefs are without Isaac Pacheco. They may bring in Jerick McKinnon because he played for them more recently. Isaac Pacheco, Chiefs has a broken or fractured fibula. He'll be out for weeks. He does have to have surgery, probably out 6 to 8 weeks. So many injuries this week. The Rams that the 49ers will face on Sunday are without Cooper Kupp. They are without Puka Nacua, who are out for multiple weeks. Puka Nacua was put on IR, and Cooper Kupp may go on IR as well. They've got a guard and a cornerback also probably going to be out of the game on Sunday. So it's going to be a very patched up Rams team and also for the 49ers. Does it level the playing field a little bit? Maybe, but the 49ers are going to have to kind of get it together, pull it together, because there were a few good performances and a few not so good performances in Minneapolis on Sunday. JP Mason ran 20 times for 100 yards. Good performance. And Kyle Shanahan also thought he did really well in pass protection. So he's a guy that they can rely on, but he isn't Christian McCaffrey. Now, after the game, I said, I don't know that Christian McCaffrey being on the field would have guaranteed a win because they were productive in certain aspects, but I think there were breakdowns across the board. So that doesn't necessarily mean that Christian McCaffrey would have wanted to win. Fred Warner, though, did everything in his power to try to get a win in Minneapolis. Man, that guy had an all pro, all star, Hall of Fame day with everything that he did on the field. Forced fumbles, sacks, tackles, coverage. I mean, he has now the highest grade by PFF of any defensive player over 2 weeks. And I really do think that his purpose in life has kind of upped because he has a son now and he has a family. Not that he didn't have purpose before, but I think it just upped the stakes a little bit more for Fred Warner because, man, he had a crazy good game. Nick Bosa, also not a bad game. 2 sacks. He had a really good grade in the run game, 73.2 run defense grade, second highest on the team. So, I mean, there were some good performances, but really where the breakdown was on the defense was in the secondary. Charvarius Ward had a 54.6 grade. He allowed 1 catch for 10 yards on 2 targets, but that 1 target was a touchdown. That was the one where he made the wrong decision. Thought it was a run move by Jalen Naylor. Jalen Naylor got behind him into the end zone and all by himself. Easy target for Sam Darnold. Touchdown. Jair Brown had a really tough day. Jair Brown kind of left George Odom hanging. It was him and George Odom where Justin Jefferson caught that 50-yard pass, took it another 47 yards for a 97-yard touchdown. Um, yeah, so Jair Brown just not a great day. And he told me after the game, I got to be better. I left my safety hanging there. I just got to be better. I had Jefferson on the over, and George Odom, had him on the up and out. Jefferson stemmed inside, kind of slowed him down, and then Jefferson took the roof off of it. So just a tough day for the 49ers secondary, also special teams. I did hear that. Uh, why can I think of it? Good Lord. I did hear that on the muffed kick return, and Jacob Cowing, good Lord, I couldn't remember his name. Sorry about that for a moment. Jacob Cowing, when he called for a fair catch, it threw him off balance just a little bit. So, because he was off balance with the arm, he did it late. Fair catch, threw him off balance, and that's why he muffed the punt. So, anyways, I don't think that'll happen again, but it is a possibility that they bump up Trent Taylor. Trent Taylor is a guy who has a lot of experience with the 49ers offense. He is also a punt returner. He could be the guy that they rely on for that position because he's so confident there and so not going to have those issues like we've seen in the past from Ronnie Bell and from Jacob Cowing. So um, that's it. There are no updates on Tuesday. This is the only time we'll talk to Kyle Shanahan. There's Monday. Practice resumes on Wednesday for a regular week. And then they will fly to Los Angeles later in the week to face off with the Rams on Sunday. Um, I'll keep you updated on everything and stay tuned. Subscribe to 49ers Talk. That is my podcast with Matt Mayoko. We are going to do those live streaming shows, 49ers Now, on Wednesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. on the NBC Sports app. Definitely check those out. But otherwise, I will keep you updated here, and please subscribe. Tell your friends. And if you want to talk about anything else on here, please let me know. I will try to address it. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon.